What's up, everyone? We're here today with 2023 NFL Draft Prospect Joshua Tomas from Georgetown University. Joshua's, from Chicago. He's an electric wide receiver who's broken several records while he's played at Georgetown. And he's honestly going very much under the radar in this year's draft. Very electric player, makes a lot of plays on the field, obviously at receiver, also special teams. Just wanted to give him the opportunity, do this interview with him, let scout and evaluators at different franchises, so they could get a better feel for what his character's like, who he is as a person. So yeah, how are you doing?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Good, man. Good. With the draft coming up tomorrow, how are you feeling?
Anxious, ready, excited, a lot of different mixed emotions running through me.
That's good, man. I mean, it's probably something you've been waiting a long time for and everything like that. So,
Yeah, for sure.
so yeah, I mean, let's start off. Do you want to give us an idea of like how you got to this point where you are today? Walk us through your journey a little bit.
Yeah, so I grew up a multi-sport athlete. Like you said, I'm from Illinois. Grew up throughout the south suburbs and Chicago area. Grew up playing all sports: baseball, basketball, football, ran track all year round. Uh, my primary focus was baseball initially, but I started playing football when I was 6 years old, and that just like stole love for me. So I focused on baseball and football primarily when I got to high school. Stopped playing baseball when I was a junior. After my junior season, fractured both of my clavicles, so I just
Oh,
focused on
wow.
football. Yeah, I started focusing on football more. Like I need to get to college, keep trying to pursue my dreams because I either wanted to go to the NFL or MLB, obviously. Um, so once baseball was out the equation, my focus went into football and having leadership such as Laquan Treadwell, who's been in the league for about 8 years now, and Lance Lenore, who's been in the league for about 6 years as well too. So I've been getting mentored by them since I was in high school, even before that. They just set the path and made me realize that I can achieve anything that I put my mind to. So ended up getting a couple offers throughout high school. My senior year, I got an offer from St. Xavier. That was my only offer at the time. They are an NAIA school based out of Chicago. I'm like, nah, I definitely should be playing at a bigger level. So I just I initially was committed, then I decommitted because I knew I wanted to play at a big level. Then Georgetown came through, and I thought I had an offer all the way up until my when I came out here for my official visit in January, and coming to find out I actually did not have the offer the whole time. They were trying to choose between me and another receiver. And a couple of days leading up to signing day, they ended up calling me back and saying that they're going to offer me. So got my
Wow.
surprise. Yeah. And I didn't even know Georgetown had a football team, which is crazy because everyone only knows them for basketball. And then
Hmm.
come and find out they're D1 as well. So it's like, okay, that's one more step in my dreams that I'm pursuing. So I ended up committing here, and it's been great. It's been a good 5 years, I'd say. A roller coaster for sure. Um, yeah.
Nice, man. So I know you mentioned, some guys who are playing in the league that kind of have been able to give you mentorship. Are those people who like, laid the foundation at your high school? They went to your high school or just from your area or?
Yeah, so I grew up, I've known Laquan Treadwell my whole life, basically. He's basically like a brother to me. We stayed with each other every day throughout the year when I was growing up, little kid, especially during the summers. We were with each other basically every day. Um, we always play sport, like we all play sports. So we were always around each other, just having fun, doing everything. They are the first two players from my school to go to the NFL since mid 1900s, I
Wow.
would say. So yeah. And once they achieved it, especially with me being so close to them, and I'm like I know their mindsets and things. So once I seen them achieve it, I knew for sure that I could do the same thing.
That's great. Just like have somebody in your corner that's been there, done that. I mean, that's
Hmm.
super, super, super important and useful, I'm sure.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I mean, in terms of your play style, stuff like that, is there anybody in the league, maybe now or past, that you kind of look after, kind of try and steal parts of their game, stuff like that?
Um, I wouldn't say it's one receiver specifically because I try to watch all receivers and take stuff
Mhm.
from out their arsenal and add it to mine. So I would say it's just like a mixture of a bunch of different receivers. I watch DeAndre Hopkins probably the most out of everybody though. I just love the way he's so calm throughout his routes, everything. But yeah.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about how you were utilized at Georgetown in the offense.
Mhm.
I know you kind of played different spots, but kind of just tell the viewers, evaluators, whoever may be watching that, a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'm like a utility player, I guess you can call it. So I can basically do whatever it is you need me to do on offense or anywhere on the field, honestly, offense, defense, special teams. I'll do it all. But Georgetown, we were primarily 11 and 12 personnel, dominant through the air as opposed to running the ball. But we got a lot of our success through jet sweeps, and I was the primary person running all of those jet sweeps and um, feeding me the ball a lot through the air as well.
Okay. I know you kind of broke some records this season,
Mhm.
with receptions and then also like, career receptions and stuff like that. What was that moment like for you?
It was actually crazy because I had no idea how close I
Oh,
even
wow.
was. I had no idea how close I was to breaking those records. The thing is, so when the pandemic hit, I wrote down all the Georgetown receiver records, just like touchdowns, receptions, receiving
Mhm.
yards. I wrote it all down on a piece of paper, took a picture of that, and actually made it my screensaver for about 2 years.
Wow.
And I still had no idea how close I was because I stopped paying attention to like my individual stats. Obviously, I was
Yeah.
trying to perform my best and put up the best stats that I could, but I wasn't like adding everything up and trying like checking my stats after every single week and realizing how
Mhm.
close I was getting. I was told by my coach that I was about to break both of those records in one game, the Fordham game, and I was like, dang, but it's not a focus. My main focus, I just want to win. So if the ball's
Yeah.
coming my way, I'm going to do my best, the best of my ability to make something happen with it. So once I found that out after the game, I'm like, wow, it was shocking. It was definitely a blessing for sure.
Okay, nice. That's a kind of funny. So it was like
Yeah.
kind of leading up to the game?
Yep. They told me like
Wow.
literally right before the game, so I'm thinking about it. Then I forgot about it during the game, obviously, and then they told me again after the game. And once
Yeah.
I checked my phone, I just seen all these notifications about it. It was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
When you're prepping for a game, right, stuff like that, what are some ways that you prepare, kind of tendencies you try and look for when you're scouting a defense?
Um, as far as like breaking down film, I feel like well during the game, I feel like I unfold the defense like pretty quick. In college, that I feel like they don't disguise at least where I with the teams that I've played, they haven't disguised their defenses too much as opposed to the NFL. Obviously, they're disguising their defenses much more, and it's like it's just gonna
Hmm.
be. I'm just gonna have to study a little bit more and like realize the defenses that the disguise that they're running and the defenses that they're running. So, but breaking down film in college, I would just primarily focus on the DBs. I'll look at all the whole defense initially, but I'll break down the DBs and see how their hips are moving, um, primary coverages that they run, and we will do extra. I will go to extra film hours with the quarterbacks, and I see more film and see what defenses they're running. In my head, I mean, my offensive coordinator, Coach Spence, very smart, so he helped me understand defenses a lot more.
Okay, great. So I know you kind of spoke about it a few minutes ago, like kind of being that utility guy, kind of doing whatever you got to
Mhm.
do to win. You were probably one of the better punt and kick returners, like especially like D1 and then also FCS level. So, what value do you think you bring to a franchise, that may be looking at you from a special teams point of view?
I honestly wanted to do every special teams at Georgetown, but obviously me being one of the key players, head coach didn't want me getting hurt trying to go downfield
Mhm.
to make a tackle. So he'll never put me on punt or kickoff, but I always wanted to. I asked him every day in practice, can I get on it? But he wouldn't let me. But as far as punt return, kick return, I'm an explosive player. I'm elusive. I definitely break many tackles, get as many yards, fight for as many yards as I can possibly get.
Okay. So I mean, for scouts and evaluators that, might have thrown on your tape already or might not have, I mean, from your point of view, like what do you think some of your best like traits are that people are probably seeing when they're watching your tape?
Um, Obviously my film doesn't pop out as me being like the fastest guy on the field, which is okay because I feel like I'm like one of the most quickest guys on the field. I'm more of a quick guy than fast guy. I'm catch
Okay.
the ball and turn upfield immediately. I break a lot of tackles for sure. Never let the first person tackle me. It's a mindset. Really try to not let the first two people tackle me. Um, Definitely fight for more yards. I always try to get first down minimum after every single catch. Like this past season, I averaged 11 yards per reception. So I'm definitely trying to get the first down after every single catch to give the offense better chance of getting a touchdown, field goal, whatever it is. Just put points on the board.
Okay. And I mean, kind of you talked a little bit, I guess, about your strengths, right? Like in your game. So,
Hmm.
I think it's always important also to have an idea, like maybe where you might have a weakness, so you could, improve on it, work at it.
Hmm.
What do you think maybe one of your weaknesses are that you know about and you're working to improve?
Um, I would say that I'm not as explosive as I haven't been as explosive as I should have been this past season. Definitely could have been a lot faster. So this entire off season, that has been like my primary focus, especially leading
Hmm.
up to my pro day.
Gotcha. Okay. Um, so I know you kind of mentioned you spent couple years obviously at Georgetown.
Mhm.
What would you say one of your best memories is being there while playing?
Um, I would say this past season we had our first night game. Haven't had one of those since high school. Those are the best,
Okay.
obviously. But that game I had some that was probably my best performed game this season, probably of my career. Um, had the one hand catch to get us back in the game for like tie the game up, or we were going for two to tie the game up. We didn't get the conversion, but still almost got us to go to overtime. And then like I had this acrobatic catch. I did like a 360, tipped the ball, caught the ball.
Jeez.
It was crazy. Yeah. It was a fun game just being night, and then the crowd was just like that was probably the most packed game. Like Georgetown obviously doesn't have much of an audience when it comes to football. So that game, with it being a night game and everybody first home game of the season, everybody families usually come out for the first home game
Yep.
always, and it being a night game, the stadium was just far more packed. It was just a wonderful feeling for sure.
Good vibe. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So give me so I mean, obviously you kind of spoke a little bit about your journey kind of through high school, getting to Georgetown, kind of being under recruited. I mean, outside of that, or I mean, if you want to speak more to that, what do you think makes your journey to this point maybe different than other receivers coming out for the draft this year?
Um, Even up against just at least athletes in general, a lot of people don't know this, but it's gonna start coming out eventually. So I might as well speak on it now. But I had surgery on my head back in 2011. I have an arachnoid cyst that I had to get drained. They couldn't remove it because it was too big. It pushed my brain too far back, and if they would have removed it, it would have been a gap. So at 11-year-old,
Oh
I
wow.
mean, so think of an 11-year-old's fist, like the size of their fists balled up. That's basically how big the cyst was on my brain, and it pushed my skull
Wow.
out. So the 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 neurosurgeon basically told me that I would never be able to play sports ever again in my life. And like I said, I
Wow.
grew up playing sports year round. One sport ends, the next sport starts.
Yeah.
So that's all I knew was sports. So once he told me that, like my heart broke. I didn't know what to do. And
Yeah.
3 months after I had surgery in December of 2011, they told me I could never play sports again. I was back for
Mhm.
the following baseball season. So 3 months later,
Wow.
I got cleared to play baseball. And they said it was just like a crazy recovery. They've really never seen anything like that before. So
Wow. Yeah.
I'm definitely blessed to be able to play sports again, let alone football contact, the amount of contact I take to
Mhm.
the head. So like just my drive, like you can't tell me that my will for wanting this isn't there when I
Yep.
had like I can literally lose my life any day at any moment. I mean anybody can, but I'm at more of a risk with this cyst being on my head and popping on my brain at any point in time. Any hit, you
Yeah.
just never know. So um I've always felt like I've been one of the best athletes in my class. So, but I always been overlooked. Like whatever team it was on, I feel like no matter the sport, I feel like I was always the one overlooked because
Mhm.
I'm a little quiet. Like I just stay to myself. I don't like try to make it seem like I'm better than what I am. I'm very humble when it comes to that.
Mhm.
But um, I always felt like I was one of the better players on every team that I played on, and it was just never really acknowledged as much as I feel like it should have been. But coming out of high school, like I said, I was originally committed to the NAIA school. That was my only
Mhm.
offer. Then I got an offer from Northern Michigan, which is D2, and
Mhm.
Georgetown was my only Division 1 offer. And coming to Georgetown, obviously not being a football school, and me having the mindset of trying to go to the NFL from the jump.
Yep.
Um, a lot of the players at my school focus on school. They don't balance
Yeah.
the school football. So it's like I'm the only person. I wouldn't say I'm the only person, but it's a select few people that want to actually go to the NFL from Georgetown. But I really wanted it, so I'm doing much more training than I should have been.
Yeah.
I'm blessed to be in a position to have Laquan Treadwell and Lance Lenore as mentors in my life, allowing me to come stay with them for months throughout the year. Every summer, I'm basically going to stay with them, and we're training the entire summer, every single day, nonstop, multiple sessions. So
Mhm.
it's just my drive for it. I definitely want to get there. This is everything I ever wanted. So I'm gonna do
Yeah.
whatever it takes to get there for sure.
No, I feel you on that. I mean, definitely, obviously chip on your shoulder, like from like the different, like you said, like not always being looked at as the best player or whatever in the sport you're playing, but also like battle tested in a way,
Yeah,
like you kind of push through the stuff with your medical situation and still going at it. And I mean, you could tell you kind of have that like drive to succeed, and you're just gonna kind of
mhm.
find a way to get it done some way somehow. So
Yeah, for sure. And it's not like I needed to be pointed out as the best player on the team. I don't
yeah.
care about that, but I at least acknowledge and appreciate my game for what it is. I feel like
Hmm.
in my situation right now, I feel like a lot of scouts are looking at the fact that I'm coming from Georgetown. Georgetown hasn't had anybody go to the NFL.
Hmm.
I mean, Michael Darius, he was just picked up by the Ravens, but as far as like having a career in the NFL, we haven't had anybody since 1954 from Georgetown. Georgetown plays in a Patriot League, which isn't that big compared to obviously the bigger platform schools. So I feel
Hmm.
like I'm just getting overlooked, and the stats, the film is there, but I just got to trust in myself and trust in God and believe everything is going to work out in my favor for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. So I know, you recently had your pro day a few weeks ago
Yep.
at University of Maryland. You were able to do it there. Tell us how that went, how you feel like it went, and what that experience was like for you.
Uh, Wonderful experience. Great hospitality from UMD. Appreciate them so much for allowing me to come in and perform there. But it went great overall. I just feel like my 40 time was a little off. Uh, I've been training the past couple of months, been training at a four in the 4.4, low 4.5 range. I get there, they put me down as a 4.67, which really hurt me a lot.
Hmm.
Following week, I go to the CFL tryout and run a 4.47. So it's like,
Yeah.
how do I just drop zero point 0.2 seconds in a week? But it's cool.
Yeah.
It hurt me a lot, but I just pray that scouts really like appreciate my game for what it is, and stats don't lie. The film doesn't
Yep.
lie. And on film, I don't look anything like a 4.67. That's basically a 4.7. I don't look like I'm running
Yeah.
a 4, you know. So, um, but otherwise, everything else went great, especially the position work at my pro day. It was great. I had so much fun there for sure.
Good, man. Nice. What was your I guess pre-pro day, the pre-draft training? What's that been like? Where you been training at?
So I went down to Texas with Laquan Treadwell and his brother. I went down there to train. We went down there in January, um, and neither one of us had agents at the time. So his
Hmm.
agent ended up connecting us with an agent that got us in a facility to start training for our pro days. And they initially told us that we can train there and don't have to worry about paying until after the draft. Like our
Hmm.
agent come through after about 2 weeks, if that even. One day we walked in the morning and they were like, basically, if we can't pay right now, then we can't continue to train.
Hmm.
So it was like, I don't have the money. They were charging probably around $6,000 for a 6-week program. I didn't have
Hmm.
that at the time. So I couldn't do it. So we ended up getting memberships at Lifetime and we're training by ourselves. Like we know what we needed to train. You know,
Hmm.
we've been in these situations. We've been trained. We know what we need to train for, especially for explosive stuff, getting our speed
Hmm.
up and our drills. Training with Laquan. Then I ended up after a while I was like, I'd rather just have somebody be evaluating me than me trying to evaluate myself and critique myself. So
Yeah.
I ended up coming back to DC with the trainers that I've been with for the past couple of years, and which is affordable training for me. So I had to go with what I can afford, obviously, with while not having an agent at the time.
Hmm.
Um, so I came back here, been training with them, with with Eats out in they're in Rockville, Maryland. So I've been training with them. Uh, but they definitely prepared me pretty good. They always had great work. But other than
Nice,
that,
man.
and I've been training with my receiver trainer out here as well. So just been getting critiquing everything, fixing the little minor tweaks and doing everything that I need to.
Finding a way to get it done, really.
Yeah, for sure.
I know we've been talking a lot about like football, kind of your journey, kind of to this point, stuff like that. Kind of just curious, like, what tell us something fun, maybe something interesting, like a hobby or something a lot of people don't know about you.
Um, so I love fishing,
Okay.
which is crazy. A lot of people think I'm like so country for
From
that.
Chicago, really?
Yeah. You'll be surprised because a lot of people that's from Chicago, like people outside of Chicago, actually think we're from down south just based off how like we talk. So
Yeah.
like me saying that I fish too is like, you sure you're not from down south?
Yeah.
But yeah, my grandpa used to fish a lot, and before he passed, I used to go with him all the time. Fell in love with it. Went fishing with Laquan and his brothers and everything all the time. And
Nice.
I ended up getting a bass boat over the pandemic, and
Wow.
yeah, I would go fishing up the canals, little lakes. Can't take it on Lake Michigan; it's too
Yeah.
big. The waves are just crazy out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But I love fishing. I love cooking. I love grilling. I grill all the time. I, my dad got me right on learning how to cook. Him and my grandma for sure. Yeah.
Nice, man. Nice. So, kind of, you've kind of handled a lot of different challenges, like kind of that you were talking about throughout your life, and then in football,
Yep.
um, I mean, a lot of people face challenges, right? So, I mean, kind of just curious, like, what do you kind of look to, or like, how do you, I don't know, get through some of these hard times and challenges?
Um, I'm not really like a big religious person. I didn't grow up
Hmm.
like going to church, so I once so when LaQuan Treadwell broke his ankle in college, he started like at Ole Miss, he started sending me a lot of Bible scriptures. And that was
Okay.
what like really started getting me to start reading the Bible, seeing things that relate to me and some of my situations. And I like read scriptures. I would always try to pray. Um, it was inconsistent for sure. at first. Then I got consistent, and then I just felt myself becoming more of a like spiritual person, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So I just like talk to myself a lot. Probably think I'm crazy if you see me, but
No,
I talk out loud a lot. Like I just talk to myself a lot. Go to my mom for advice a lot. Some of my friends.
no. Mm-hmm.
Just try to stay. I just stay positive about every single situation and know that I'm gonna come out on top and believe in that. But I try not to sit too much in the negativity or overthink about the current situation. Because once you start drowning in your thoughts, you start creating different realities, versions of
Mm-hmm.
reality in your head. So I just continue to push through and look to my family, friends for advice as much as I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll start wrapping it up. Probably ask you a few more questions.
Okay.
It's kind of if you had to pick a favorite route, what is it and why?
Favorite route. I would say so it's like a jerk route or a whip
Hmm.
route. I like both of those routes. Those are probably two of my favorites because I like the whip route because you basically running like a slant. Once you get to the slant, you immediately sit down, break out. And I just feel like I'm really quick at getting in and out my breaks and creating
Hmm.
separation on my route. So I feel like that's definitely one of my favorites. I love a sail route because I play slot. So running a sail route, I'm not gonna any route in general. I don't get pressed too much.
Hmm.
So it just gives me a lot of leverage to attack a DB, throw him off, and then snap it outside, whether it's man or
Gotcha.
zone. Yeah, so those are probably some of my favorite routes.
Okay. And let's wrap it up. Let's give want to give you one last opportunity, give your last pitch, I guess, to scouts and evaluators that might be watching this video and why they should, think long and hard about bringing you into their organization.
Definitely should because I will not disappoint. Definitely a student of the game, very coachable, always working to try to get better. Um, on and off the field, in the film room, whatever it is, I'm definitely trying to learn more. Stay. I like to gravitate more toward like people with more knowledge or background information, like with the game. So I try to stay in the game. I'm very explosive as far as I break a lot of tackles, great hands, hand-eye coordination is very good. Definitely be a great receiver. I have all the tools in my arsenal that I need to play at the next level for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, appreciate you taking the time to do this interview and I mean, I hope it helps and, gives evaluators and people like that an opportunity to see what your character's like. Obviously, they can put on the film and everything like
Yeah.
that. And wishing you the best of luck, with the draft here tomorrow and then kind of
Thank you.
through the rest of the week and everything. And yeah, wishing you the best, man.
I appreciate you, Nick.
Absolutely.